Hey there, my name is Amara Peterson and I am from Hot Chefs Food Services. Today I'm going to be showing you how to prepare an amazing Italian pasta. We're doing it vegan style today, so we're going to be doing a mushroom bolognaise. So the ingredients we're going to be needing is some pasta. If you have fresh pasta or you know how to make fresh pasta, please do that because it tastes so much better. We have some onion, some green pepper, some sliced mushroom, some canned whole peel tomatoes. For the flavor, we're going to be using some cinnamon, some aniseed, some allspice, and we have some teriyaki sugar, some seeds for the protein, some chili, some thyme, parsley, oregano and rocket. Nice and fresh because that's the best flavor that you get from fresh herbs. Right? So it's a very simple dish. You only need about 20 minutes to prepare this dish. So first things first, we have some boiling water, and what we're going to do is we're just going to sprinkle some salt in there. Salt's main job is to add flavor. So what it does, it actually pulls out the flavor of the ingredients. So you always want to add a little bit of salt. Some olive oil. The olive oil will help your pasta not stick together and not sort of be that clammy, overcooked pasta. What we're going to do is we're going to take our spaghetti. You could use penne, you could use macaroni, you could use whatever you have, but spaghetti is a traditional bolognese sort of pasta. So while my pasta is going, just on this note, you see that I just throw the pasta in the pan. What's going to happen is as it gets softer, they're just going to fall into the pan. So you don't actually have to break them, because when you break them, then they don't look really good. So while that's going, I'm going to be chopping up my onion and heating up my pan. A lot of people make the mistake, they add the ingredients to a cold pan, but it's very important that you add your ingredients to a hot pan because you get the best of the ingredients. So this is the way to correctly chop an onion. What you want to do is you take the one end of the onion off, leaving the root on. And this makes it really easy to chop, right? So what I've done is I've cut my onion that way, and all I'm going to do now is gently roll my knife, and within seconds I have nicely chopped onions, no hassle, no fuss, and that last piece I just chuck in the bin. So I'm going to add one whole onion to this recipe. So again, cutting my onion straight down and just rolling my knife, not lifting it from the board. With this you need a really sharp knife, it's safer and it's easier to get through your ingredients. My pot is nice and hot and it's starting to smoke, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add my oil. A lot of people, what they do is they add oil to the pot while it's actually heating up. And that's a mistake, because what's going to happen is your oil loses all its goodness and all the flavor that's actually providing. So hot pan, oil, we're going to add our stick cinnamon, we're going to add our aniseed, and we are going to add our allspice. Now, for the flavor, we have some fresh thyme. You could use dry thyme, but fresh thyme is just way more flavor and it's just amazing if you use fresh thyme. So we add this in because it's a hard herb, so it needs lots of heat. So it's not like your parsley or your coriander that you add last. So with rosemary or thyme, you always want to add it right in the beginning of your cooking, because the longer it cooks, the more flavor you get from it. You want to hear that nice sizzle from your onion. So while my onion is browning nicely, I don't ever want to sweat my onions for this recipe. I don't want to put the lid on so that all the water and the moisture, I want to get it to a nice caramelizing effect. So this is high heat, no steaming, no anything, just keep tossing your onions. While we're doing that, I'm going to chop up just a slither of green pepper. So what this does is it just beautifully adds a nice sort of green flavor to your bolognese. You could add carrots to it, you could add whatever other ingredients you like, because the key for the flavor is all in the herbs. So if you like other vegetables or you like other greens, you can definitely add them as you feel. So my green pepper in there, and I just want to give it a nice stir. You can see the onions are browned almost immediately. And what happens to the pan is the pan gets this sort of caramelized dark bottom, and a lot of people think, oh, their food is burning. But in actual fact, that's all the flavor that's being released from the ingredients. So most of us, like when we do our foods, we add like water to it, but we don't actually want to add too much water to the food, simply because it sort of dilutes all that amazing flavor. So while that is frying over there, I'm going to just slice up a chili. So usually the red chilies are way more spicy than green chilies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take the seeds out, and the seeds is where all the heat lies. So I don't really want a very spicy pasta more than a flavorful pasta. So if you remove the seed, it takes most of the chili heat out of it. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to slice it up nice and fine. So if you're a person that don't like really spicy foods, all you have to do is add a green chili and not a red one. So my chili goes in there, giving it a nice stir. So my pan is starting to get nice and brown. This is usually when people will start adding their water to lift that brownness off, to lift up that flavor, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to show you how to use the tomatoes to actually just pick up all that flavor. So obviously your sauce is a lot more thicker and a lot more tastier than just adding water to it. So 1 can of whole peeled tomatoes, and I'm going to turn my stove now down to sort of a medium heat so that it can simmer all that beautiful flavor together. Now you could use chopped tomatoes. I just find that the whole peel is nice because you get that chunky bits of tomato, and traditionally the Italians will always use whole peel tomatoes. So while this is simmering, we're going to just give our pasta a stir to make sure that we loosen up all those sticky bits. Now pasta doesn't need a lot of time to cook. A lot of people think that you have to cook pasta for 20 to 30 minutes. But in actual fact, the proper way to cook a pasta, and even a rice, is to have that little bit of crunchiness on the inside, and what we call al dente, which means soft on the outside and crispy on the inside. So your pasta actually only has to cook for about 7 minutes in order for it to be perfectly cooked. Right, so I'm going to leave this on for another 2 minutes, and while I do that, I'm going to be chopping up the rest of my ingredients that I'm going to be needing to flavor my sauce. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be adding my mushrooms into my sauce. So with your mushrooms, you want to rinse them, but you want to leave them to dry. Because what happens is mushrooms are like sponges. They like soak up all the flavor that you put them in. So if you put them in water, they soak up all the water and they become like soggy sort of sponges. So you want to always dry it before you add them to the pan to get rid of all of that water. Right? But now when you're cooking it like this, it's going to pick up all that beautiful flavor. It's going to pick up all of that aromas of the thyme and the cinnamon and the aniseed. But we're not going to cook them too long because mushrooms, they reduce a lot in size when you cook them too long. So all we want to do is we want to get them to a nice color, and our sauce is basically done. So the cool thing about using fresh garlic is that it tastes amazing, and also you get to use and lose some of your frustration. So fresh garlic, all you want to do is give it a big smash. The skin automatically comes off and it's all mushed up already. So you just like finally have to chop it to get your beautifully chopped garlic. Most people try to use the preserved or boiled stuff because it's easier, but look how easy that actually is. And you get the best flavor ever. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add that to my sauce, let that simmer, and remove my pasta. So my pasta is ready. It's beautiful long strips of spaghetti, and all I want to do is throw it in a strainer. I'm going to be keeping the cooking liquid because what this does is it helps my pasta stay nice and moist without drying up and without being clammy. So now that my dish is almost complete, I'm going to be doing my final touches. Now this is sort of one of the most important parts of your pasta dish because this is where all your flavor comes in. So I have some fresh parsley and I have some fresh oregano. And like I said, you can use the dried ones. The fresh ones are just way more better and way more flavorful. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to finely chop that up. Now the thing about like these soft herbs, you kind of don't want to chop them up too tiny because what happens is you'll see that on your board it starts to get green. That's all the goodness and all the flavor that's actually leaving your herbs if you're going to chop them up too much. So I'm going to add that in there, and I'm going to add a sprinkle of teriyaki sugar. What the teriyaki sugar does is it makes my tomatoes look all glossy and all shiny. So it just looks way better. And also it takes out that acidity of the tomato. Give that a good stir. And your pasta is ready. So now all we want to do is give it a taste and salt and pepper. Always add your seasoning last to your dish because the longer you cook salt and the longer you cook pepper, the more flavor actually comes from them. So nice coarse black pepper. So this is a perfect vegan dish, especially for Ramadan because it doesn't have lots of carbs. It's just your pasta. It doesn't have a lot of protein. So it's nice and light on your stomach. So what I'm going to do is that beautiful bolognese, quick and easy. And I'm going to show you how to plate it up in a beautiful way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a fork, make sure all that excess water gets drained off, and I'm going to take my fork and kind of twist it into the bowl to give it like a really rustic look. I'm going to add my bolognese to the top of that. I'm going to add some beautiful fresh rocket. This just adds an extra nice peppery flavor to it. We scrum it up into like a ball. We put it on the top there. Now for some protein. We're going to add some pumpkin seeds. And this just gives your body that extra boost that you need. And in true Italian style, just a drizzle of olive oil over the top. And there you have it, a beautiful Italian pasta made within minutes, perfect for all your Ramadan eating.